Understanding the idea of a Sigma personality. In recent years, the term Sigma has become very popular, especially on the internet. Many people use it to describe someone who is independent, calm, confident, and focused on their own path rather than constantly seeking approval from others. Unlike people who try to dominate social hierarchies or chase validation, a Sigma personality usually prefers quiet strength and personal growth. A Sigma individual is often described as someone who does not feel the need to constantly prove themselves to others. They focus on improving their skills, thinking independently, and making decisions based on logic rather than social pressure. This mindset often leads to a lifestyle where a person values freedom, discipline, and self-respect more than popularity. However, becoming this type of person is not about acting mysterious or isolating yourself from society. It is actually about developing certain strong personal traits that allow you to think clearly, act confidently, and remain emotionally stable even in difficult situations. These traits help someone become more self-reliant and mentally resilient. In this video, we will explore 5 powerful traits that shape a Sigma personality. Even if you are starting from zero knowledge about this concept, by the end of this video you will clearly understand what these traits are and how they can help you become stronger, more focused, and more independent in life. Trait 1. Extreme self-reliance. One of the strongest traits of a Sigma personality is self-reliance. This means the ability to depend on yourself instead of constantly depending on others for validation, decisions, or emotional support. A self-reliant person trusts their own judgment and takes responsibility for their own life. Most people often look for approval before making decisions. They ask others what they should do, how they should act, or whether their choices are correct. A Sigma mindset works differently. Instead of relying on external opinions, a self-reliant individual gathers information, analyzes the situation logically, and then makes decisions independently. Self-reliance also means developing practical abilities. When a person learns skills, solves problems independently, and adapts to challenges without panic, they become stronger mentally. This does not mean refusing help completely, but it means not feeling helpless when facing difficulties alone. When someone becomes truly self-reliant, their confidence grows naturally. They no longer feel the need to impress people or constantly seek reassurance. Instead, they move through life with quiet confidence, knowing they can handle challenges with their own intelligence and effort. Trait number 2. Emotional control. Another defining trait of a Sigma personality is emotional control. This does not mean suppressing emotions or pretending to feel nothing. Instead, it means the ability to understand your emotions and manage them logically, rather than letting them control your actions. Many people react immediately when they feel anger, frustration, or stress. They may argue, make impulsive decisions, or say things they later regret. A Sigma mindset works differently. When faced with intense emotions, a person with strong emotional control pauses, analyzes the situation, and responds calmly rather than reacting impulsively. Emotional control also allows someone to remain stable during pressure. Life naturally brings difficult situations such as criticism, failure, or unexpected problems. Individuals who lack emotional stability often panic or lose focus. But someone with emotional discipline stays calm, thinks clearly, and searches for rational solutions. This trait is extremely powerful because it creates mental strength. When you learn to control your emotions, you stop being easily manipulated by other people or external situations. Instead, you become someone who acts with logic and clarity, which is a key characteristic of a Sigma personality. Trait number 3. Deep focus and discipline. A Sigma personality is often defined by deep focus and strong discipline. Instead of constantly chasing distractions or trying to impress others, a Sigma individual directs their energy toward meaningful goals. They understand that long-term success usually comes from consistent effort rather than quick bursts of motivation. In the modern world, distractions are everywhere: social media, endless entertainment, and constant notifications. Many people lose hours every day without realizing how much time they waste. A disciplined person recognizes this problem and intentionally protects their time and attention. They prioritize activities that improve their skills, knowledge, and overall life direction. Deep focus also means the ability to work on a task for long periods without constantly switching attention. When someone develops this ability, their productivity increases dramatically. Complex problems become easier to solve because their mind is fully engaged with the task rather than scattered across multiple distractions. Discipline is the foundation behind this focus. It means doing what needs to be done even when motivation is low. While many people rely on temporary motivation, disciplined individuals rely on structured habits and routines. Over time, this consistency builds progress, which is why focus and discipline are key traits associated with the Sigma mindset. Trait number 4, independent thinking. A major characteristic of a Sigma personality is independent thinking. This means the ability to analyze ideas logically and form your own conclusions instead of blindly following what the majority believes. Independent thinkers question assumptions, evaluate evidence, and rely on reasoning rather than social pressure. In many situations, people simply accept popular opinions because they want to fit in or avoid conflict. However, a Sigma mindset focuses on truth and logic rather than approval. An independent thinker is comfortable disagreeing with the crowd if the facts and reasoning point in a different direction. This trait also encourages curiosity and critical thinking. Instead of accepting information immediately, a person with independent thinking asks questions such as, is this claim supported by evidence? Does this argument make logical sense? What are the alternative explanations? These questions help develop a clearer and more rational understanding of the world. By developing independent thinking, a person becomes less influenced by manipulation, propaganda, or emotional persuasion. Decisions become more rational and intentional. This ability to think clearly and independently is one of the strongest foundations of a Sigma personality. Trait number 5, comfort with solitude. One of the most noticeable traits associated with a Sigma personality is being comfortable with solitude. This does not mean disliking people or avoiding social interaction completely. Instead, it means being able to spend time alone without feeling lonely or dependent on constant company. Many people feel uncomfortable when they are alone for long periods. They constantly seek distractions, social validation, or external attention to fill that space. A Sigma mindset views solitude differently. Time alone becomes an opportunity for thinking, learning, planning, and self-improvement. Solitude allows a person to understand their own thoughts clearly. Without constant noise from social environments, individuals can reflect on their goals, analyze their decisions, and develop deeper self-awareness. Many creative ideas and important life decisions often emerge during quiet moments of reflection. When someone becomes comfortable with solitude, they develop stronger independence and emotional stability. Their happiness is not dependent on external attention or approval. Instead, they build a balanced relationship with themselves, which strengthens their confidence and personal clarity. Why these traits are rare. Although many people talk about Sigma personalities online, the truth is that the traits associated with this mindset are actually quite rare. Most individuals naturally follow social patterns where they seek approval, avoid discomfort, and prefer short-term pleasure over long-term discipline. Because of this, developing traits like deep focus, emotional control, and independent thinking requires conscious effort. Modern environments also make these traits harder to build. Social media constantly encourages comparison and validation seeking. People often measure their worth based on likes, followers, or public recognition. This environment pushes individuals toward external approval rather than internal strength, which is the opposite direction of a Sigma mindset. Another reason these traits are uncommon is that they require self-discipline and personal responsibility. Becoming self-reliant or emotionally controlled means facing uncomfortable truths about your weaknesses and working consistently to improve them. Many people prefer avoiding this difficult process because it demands patience and long-term effort. However, the rarity of these traits is exactly what makes them powerful. When someone develops independence, focus, and emotional stability, they naturally stand out. They become more capable of making rational decisions, handling pressure, and building a life based on their own principles rather than constantly following the crowd. How to start developing these traits. Developing Sigma-like traits does not happen overnight. These characteristics are built gradually through consistent habits and intentional thinking. The first step is becoming aware of your current behaviors and identifying areas where you rely too heavily on external validation or distractions. One practical approach is to start strengthening self-discipline. This can be done by creating small daily routines such as reading, learning new skills, exercising, or working on personal goals without waiting for motivation. Over time, these habits train your mind to focus on long-term growth instead of short-term comfort. Another important step is practicing critical thinking. Instead of accepting information immediately, start asking logical questions. Analyze situations carefully and examine different perspectives before forming conclusions. This habit strengthens independent thinking and protects you from being easily influenced by trends or opinions. Finally, spend intentional time in quiet reflection. Solitude can help you understand your goals, evaluate your decisions, and improve self-awareness. When combined with discipline and rational thinking, these practices gradually develop the traits that define a strong and independent personality. The real meaning of strength. Many people misunderstand what personal strength actually means. Strength is often associated with dominance, aggression, or trying to prove superiority over others. However, real strength is usually much quieter and more controlled. It appears in the ability to remain calm, think clearly, and make rational decisions even when facing pressure or criticism. A Sigma mindset focuses on internal strength rather than external validation. Instead of trying to dominate social hierarchies or compete for attention, a strong individual focuses on mastering themselves. This includes controlling impulses, improving knowledge, and building discipline that supports long-term goals. True strength also involves resilience. Life naturally brings setbacks, failures, and unexpected challenges. People who rely only on motivation often lose direction when things become difficult. But individuals who build mental discipline and independence are able to adapt, learn from mistakes, and continue moving forward without losing focus. Ultimately, the real meaning of strength is self-mastery. When someone develops control over their thoughts, emotions, and actions, they become far less influenced by external chaos. This level of internal stability is what allows a person to live with confidence, clarity, and independence. Conclusion: building a strong and independent mindset. Developing a Sigma personality is not about following an internet trend or trying to act mysterious. At its core, it is about building a strong and independent mindset. The traits we discussed, self-reliance, emotional control, discipline, independent thinking, and comfort with solitude, are qualities that help a person become mentally stable and self-directed. These traits allow someone to make decisions based on logic rather than social pressure. Instead of constantly seeking approval or attention, individuals with this mindset focus on improving themselves, building their skills, and creating a meaningful path in life. Over time, this quiet focus often leads to greater confidence and personal freedom. It is also important to remember that these traits are developed gradually. No one becomes highly disciplined or emotionally controlled overnight. Growth happens through consistent effort, self-reflection, and learning from experiences. Small improvements made every day eventually build a stronger character. Ultimately, becoming a stronger and more independent person is a lifelong process. By developing these traits step by step, you can create a mindset that allows you to stay calm under pressure, think clearly, and move forward in life with confidence and purpose.